Welcome to Karma Chronicles. Please like the video and subscribe. Let's begin. I was standing at the kitchen sink, rinsing out a coffee mug, when I heard the garage door rumble open. After a full week of radio silence, my husband finally decided to come home. The second he walked in, the energy shifted. He strolled in like a movie star. Oversized designer sunglasses, a stupid smug grin, and a duffel bag that probably cost more than our mortgage payment. I dried my hands slow and leaned against the counter as he tossed his bag onto the couch like it owed him money. "Well, babe," he said, flashing his wrist like I was supposed to gasp. "You are now married to a man who owns a Rolex." I looked at it. The watch gleamed like it was trying too hard. He twisted it, letting the light hit it just right. "Got it in Vegas. You should have seen the suite. Jacuzzi in the bedroom, champagne on tap. Total baller status." He kicked off his shoes, new leather ones, and stretched like he'd just returned from a year in combat. Man, I needed that trip. The spa alone was worth it. Deep tissue massage, steam room, all on the house, technically. Perks of doing business right. I nodded, biting back the urge to laugh. "Looks like you had a good time." He dropped into the armchair and smiled, all teeth. "You don't even know. That injury claim I told you about, the one I submitted last month? Boom. Approved. Full payout. No questions asked." He winked like we were partners in crime. I just kept my voice even. "That's so." He grinned wider. "I told you I had a plan. Work smart, not hard, right?" He didn't notice I hadn't laughed once or asked a single question. He was too busy feeding his own ego. "My name's Rachel. I'm 34 years old. I live in Sacramento. And I've been married to this man, Austin, for 7 years. He's always been the type who cuts corners and calls it ambition. The kind of guy who thinks loopholes make him clever instead of lazy. Last week, Austin pulled the dumbest move of his life. He used my work laptop while I was at the grocery store. He had no clue that the file he opened, the one he copied data from to file that fake insurance claim, wasn't real. He walked straight into a trap. And the best part? He still thought he'd won. I smiled, set my mug down, and asked, "So, what exactly did you say happened to you again?" He leaned back and started rambling about slipping on a loading dock, something about a busted knee and nerve damage, and how they bought it without even blinking. I nodded like I believed him, but my stomach twisted. Because I already knew the truth. It happened 5 days earlier. I came home from a late lunch with a client and noticed my work laptop was closed, but it wasn't where I left it. The mouse was turned, the screen had fingerprint smudges, and Austin's dumb energy lingered like cologne in the air. I opened the screen. The most recent file was still in the recents list. Ferguson, internal flag review. Not a real claim, not even close. I stared at it, heart thudding hard, knowing exactly what that file was. At my job, I handle high-risk claims for a regional insurance group. We use dummy files like that to catch internal breaches. The Ferguson file was a full-on bait trap, designed by our legal team to look juicy enough to tempt someone into touching it. The payout looked huge. Multiple surgeries, long-term disability, 6-figure total. But the second anyone opened or downloaded it without clearance, game over. Austin hadn't just opened it, he'd copied it. The access log showed he pulled the whole folder to a thumb drive around 2:17 p.m. I didn't panic. I picked up my cell, stepped into the bedroom, and called Tracy. "Tell me you're joking," she said after I walked her through it. "I wish." "That's your husband?" "Yep." She paused. "Rachel, this is bad, like real bad." "I know." Tracy sighed, but then she chuckled under her breath. "Well, damn. He picked the exact wrong file. He had no idea what he was opening. He's that stupid? He thinks he's a genius." There was another pause. Then Tracy said, "All right, let's not spook him. Not yet. You want to let it ride? We've been waiting for someone dumb enough to bite on that claim. If he files anything using our fake data, it'll ping legal, audit, and fraud in real time. We can catch every step. And if I just watch, you stay quiet, play normal. We'll build the case." I hung up and stared at the wall for a long time. My face felt hot, and not from embarrassment, from pure, boiling rage. He stole from my company. Worse, he used my login to do it, my badge, my laptop. He didn't even think twice, didn't even ask. That night, I acted like nothing was wrong. Cooked dinner, let him vent about how corporate America screws guys like him. He had no idea I'd already set the wheels in motion. The next morning, Tracy texted, "We're in. Fraud team got the first ping. Let's keep eyes on him." By noon, I got a call from legal. They'd already seen the fake injury claim come in, and every single detail matched the Ferguson file. Same diagnosis, same medical provider, same exaggerated timeline. It was textbook fraud, a six-figure payout request with forged MRI scans and hospital letterhead that looked like they'd been made in Canva. He even signed it with his real name, Tracy said. And get this, he listed you as his emergency contact. I didn't know whether to laugh or scream. He listed my office as the employer witness, I told her, as if I'm just going to vouch for his fake injury. Tracy was quiet for a second. "Rachel, do you want to keep going with this? We can shut it down now. He'll still be charged. We've got enough." "No," I said. "Let's see how far he takes it." I wanted to see the full show. By Friday, he was already acting different, cocky, texting me stuff like, "Big news soon. Be ready for a surprise." I played dumb, sent back a heart emoji, packed his favorite snacks for his business trip, kissed him goodbye at the door like I wasn't helping plan his downfall. Because if he wanted to play games, fine. But he was too stupid to realize the rules were already set, and I helped write them. Saturday morning, I found the note on the kitchen counter, folded like he was 15 years old sneaking out of his parents' house. "Taking some me time, don't wait up." No explanation, no return date. Just that little smug smiley face like he was doing something bold and sexy instead of criminal. I snapped a photo of the note and texted it to Tracy with one line. "Here we go." I didn't have to guess where he was going. Tracy already had his phony claim flagged across every system. The second that payout cleared, we'd see where the money went. And sure enough, by Monday morning, he was already on the grid. "Your boy's in Scottsdale," Tracy said on the phone. "Rented a Beamer, spa resort, private pool suite. On our dime." On your login, I swallowed the heat crawling up my throat. Track it all. Every swipe of his card popped up in our expense monitoring tool. Room service at luxury hotels, couples massage for one. Bottle service at some rooftop bar. The idiot even tipped 25% like he was a king instead of a clown riding stolen cash. Tuesday morning, he flew to Miami, private beach club, 2-day yacht rental, charged straight to the same account. He posted a story of his feet in the sand with the caption, "Sometimes you gotta spoil yourself." I kept watching. Receipts, hotel records, rental agreements, and photos. So many photos. The fraud team traced his phone's geotags to every address tied to the claim file. He even visited the fake hospital listed in the Ferguson bait. Took a selfie outside with a thumbs up like it proved something. By Thursday, Tracy was all in. "Legal's pulling in regional fraud. We've got enough for conspiracy, wire fraud, identity theft, the works." Does he know? He still thinks he got away with it. I sat on my couch that night and pulled up the fraud dashboard. His transaction history looked like Monopoly money. $2,000 on designer shoes, $600 on some fancy steak place, another $3,000 at a holistic recovery retreat in Sedona. He's not hiding anything, I told Tracy. He's throwing it in our faces. Let him. Makes it easier for us. But it didn't feel easy. Watching him spend everything with that same stupid smirk I used to fall for made my chest ache in a way I didn't expect. Not because I missed him. I didn't. It was the betrayal sitting in my lungs like cement. This was a man I'd built a life with, paid bills with, shared passwords with, and now he was using me as his cover story. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the first time he told me he'd figure something out when he got laid off. That was 3 years ago. Since then, I'd carried the weight of everything. The mortgage, the health insurance, the groceries, all while he bounced between half-baked ideas and opportunities that never paid off. And now here he was, cruising through Miami on a fraud-fueled vacation while I sat at home cleaning his dishes. Friday morning, I got an email from Tracy. Subject, lock it in. The body just said, full sting is approved. Local PD is on standby. We're timing the arrest for when he gets home. You in? I stared at it for a long second. Then I typed back, tell me what you need. The rest of the day moved fast. I gave her everything. His schedule, how long he usually took to unpack, what time he liked to shower. I knew it all. 7 years of marriage turned me into the expert witness. Later that night, I poured a glass of wine and opened my laptop again. Another transaction had posted. This one from a jewelry boutique in New Orleans. He was still moving, still spending. I took a sip and whispered, "Burn it all down, then," because the fuse was already lit. He just didn't hear it hissing. I heard the garage door go up around 9 p.m. The key turned like it always did. Scrape, pause, click. But the man who walked in wasn't the one who left a week ago. He came through the door wearing a tan blazer, white sneakers too clean to be worn twice, and a smug little smirk like he was waiting for applause. "Well, well," he said, dropping his bag by the door. "Look who survived without me." I gave him a warm smile. Barely. He spun his wrist up like a magician, flashing that damn Rolex again. "You like it? Custom. I had them size it at the boutique in Miami." I pulled my phone from the charger and tapped the voice recorder on without blinking. "You've been busy?" I said, pretending to admire the gold and leather wrapped around his wrist. He kissed me on the cheek, then made a beeline for the kitchen like he owned the air in the room. Opened the fridge, grabbed a soda, cracked it, and leaned on the counter. "I gotta tell you, Rach, that trip was unreal. First-class flights, champagne on arrival, five-star resort in Scottsdale, then Miami, then a quick stop in New Orleans for a little fun. Back massage that turned into a full-body wrap thing. I don't even know what half that stuff was. All I know is I deserved it." I raised an eyebrow. "That injury must have really messed you up, huh?" He grinned. "Worked like a charm. I told you, these companies just rubber stamp anything if you make it sound urgent enough." I swallowed the lump in my throat and walked to the living room, sitting just out of view so he wouldn't notice me texting. "He's back. Let's do it." My thumb hovered for one more second. Then I hit send. He came in and flopped on the couch across from me, legs wide like he was holding court. "That knee injury?" he said, slapping his thigh. I had to throw in some nerve damage, toss in some fake imaging, but I sold it. Honestly, I should have gone into acting. I laughed on cue and tilted my phone slightly, so the mic kept catching everything. Did they ask for proof? Not really. Couple forms, some bills, letterhead from that fake ortho place. You remember the one I found online with the outdated website? He sipped his soda like this was some genius-level plan. I made it real enough. Typed up some doctor notes, printed them at that FedEx spot near your office. Boom, 6 figures. "You're really proud of this, huh?" I asked, leaning forward just enough to see the light bounce off his watch again. "Hell yeah, I am. Who else do you know who can pull that off and still have time to get a tan?" I wanted to scream. I wanted to stand up and shout you stole from me, but I didn't. I nodded. I kept my voice soft. I played the same part I had for years. The supportive wife, the patient listener, the one who held the house together while he chased his next shortcut. "Anything else I should know?" I asked. He grinned like a teenager caught sneaking a beer. "Nah, just that I'm back, I'm relaxed, and you're gonna love the stuff I got for you. I left one surprise in the car. Gucci. You'll die." He leaned back, arms spread like he owned the place. "I mean, I deserve a little luxury, right? After all I've been through?" "Of course you do," I said. I smiled wide, reached for the remote, and casually stopped the recording. Then I excused myself, went to the bathroom, and sent the audio file to Tracy with one line. He gave us everything. When I walked back into the living room, he was still lounging like a king. I sat down beside him, close enough to smell the cologne he probably couldn't pronounce, and said, "So, what's next for the king of shortcuts?" He didn't catch the edge in my voice. Didn't notice the way I kept glancing at the clock. He still had no idea the walls were already closing in. The next morning, I barely slept. I left before he woke up, claiming I had an early meeting. The second I pulled out of the driveway, I called Tracy. "Corner bean, 30 minutes, she said. "Bring everything." When I got there, she was already at a back table with 2 folders open, laptop glowing. Her coffee sat untouched. "Morning," I said, sliding into the seat. She looked up, eyes sharp. "You got the recording?" "Right here." I handed her my phone. She hit play. Austin's voice filled the little cafe, cocky, proud, bragging about his fake injury, his acting skills, his payout. Tracy smirked halfway through. "This guy's a goldmine of stupidity." "I told you," I said. He practically confessed to everything. She tapped the table. "Between this and the forged hospital docs, it's airtight. He faked signatures from a doctor who doesn't exist, used a medical provider our company made up, and filed from your IP address. We've got motive, method, and money trail. Fraud, forgery, identity theft, I said, ticking them off. How long before it hits him? Tracy leaned back. By tonight. Fraud teams looping in local PD and the state investigator. We're staging the arrest at your house. You'll want to stay calm when it happens. I took a breath, steady but cold. Trust me, I've been calm for a week. We went through every detail. She slid me a summary packet with highlighted statements, timestamps, copies of the fake forms he'd uploaded. Each line was like a nail in the coffin. The whole thing looked so deliberate, like he'd built it just to see if he could get away with it. When we finished, she said quietly, "You okay?" "Yeah." "Just ready." Tracy nodded once. He's not going to see it coming. By the time I got home, Austin was in the living room watching TV, shoes off, drink in hand. He looked relaxed, comfortable. I almost felt bad for him. Almost. He looked up and grinned. "You were up early. Work stuff?" "Yeah," I said. "Just some reports." He shrugged. "Cool, I was thinking we could go out tonight. Celebrate a little." "Sure," I said, smiling. "Sounds perfect." He had no clue that the celebration he'd get wouldn't be his. That night, I made dinner like nothing was off. He told me stories about his business contacts, about future trips, about some investment idea he was sure would make us rich. Every word made me want to scream, but I kept my voice easy, matching his rhythm. Then, right around 8, a firm knock hit the front door. He froze. "You expecting someone?" "No," I said softly. The knock came again, louder this time. He stood up, frowned, and opened the door. 2 uniformed officers stood there, badges out, calm but ready. "Austin Miller?" one of them said. "Yeah," he answered, confused. "You're under arrest for insurance fraud, forgery, and identity theft." He blinked, like the words didn't make sense. "What? No, there's some mistake." They turned him, cuffing his wrists. "You have the right to remain silent." He twisted to look at me, panic flashing in his eyes. "Rachel, tell them. You said we were a team." My heart thudded once, hard, but my face stayed still. "Then why'd you steal from me?" He just stared, mouth open, face pale, as they led him out. The door clicked behind them, leaving silence thick in the air. I stood there for a long time, staring at the empty doorway, the echo of his voice still in my head. Then I walked over, locked the door, and finally exhaled. I barely slept. My body stayed still, but my brain wouldn't shut up. I kept replaying the look on his face when they cuffed him, the way he stumbled over my name like it was some kind of shield. The next morning, I was pouring coffee when my phone lit up. "Tracy." I picked up on the first ring. "Hey." "Well, that didn't take long," she said, voice dry. "He's already talking." I didn't say anything, just waited. "He's denying everything. Says he thought you gave him the claim data, said it was some kind of shared project." I let out a short laugh. Of course he did. "Claims he thought you were in on it and that you'd been cool with it the whole time." "That tracks. That's exactly what he always does. Blame someone else the second it gets real." "He also said something about you helping him get back on his feet." I rolled my eyes so hard it hurt. "He means I paid the bills while he played entrepreneur." Tracy sighed. "Look, legal's not buying it. We've got the chain of access, the download logs, the forged forms, and his verbal confession. The timeline is solid." "What's the damage looking like?" "He's looking at multiple counts: insurance fraud, conspiracy, identity theft, probably restitution in the 6 figures, maybe jail time. Depends on how hard the state prosecutor wants to go." I leaned on the counter and rubbed the bridge of my nose. "He thought he was untouchable." "He thought you would protect him," she said. "Or at least stay quiet." "Yeah, well, that version of me doesn't exist anymore." There was a pause. Then Tracy said, "I also wanted to tell you, your name's been fully cleared. Internal review finished this morning. You're clean. No liability, no job risk, nothing." I let out a slow breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. "Thank you." "You earned it," she said. "You played this by the book, even when it got personal." "It was always personal," I muttered. We talked for another few minutes. Next steps, possible court dates, how to handle media if word got out. She said the fraud team would loop me in when they had more. But for now, I could step back. It was in the system's hands. After we hung up, I sat down at the kitchen table and stared at the wall for a while. Not crying, not mad, just done. I wasn't shocked he tried to spin it. I wasn't even hurt. I expected it. He always had a story ready, always played the victim when things went sideways. This time was no different, except now, he was talking to people who saw right through him. And for once, I wasn't the one cleaning up after his mess. I picked up my coffee, took a long sip, and opened my laptop. My inbox was already filling with updates from legal, HR, and audit. I flagged a few, deleted the junk, and forwarded one to Tracy with a note. Let me know if you need anything else, because I'd done my part. The rest was just paperwork. By Friday, the texts started rolling in. Is it true? What the hell happened with Austin? Saw something about charges. I didn't respond to most of them. Let people figure it out however they wanted. Word spreads fast when your husband gets arrested in his own driveway. And once it hit social media, the stories lit up like wildfire. His whole vibe, the laid-back hustler, the guy who always had a new side gig, the dude with $1 million idea just waiting on a break, cracked in half. The same people who used to laugh at his wild schemes started calling him a con. Some of them reached out to me saying they always had a weird feeling about him. Of course they did. Everyone's a genius after the bomb drops. But the best part? That girl he'd been sneaking around with, Amanda, some yoga instructor from Carmichael, dumped him the second she saw the headline. Tracy sent me the court records once the charges were officially filed. Fraud, identity theft, forgery, criminal conspiracy. The numbers alone were ugly. He'd racked up over $120,000 in fake benefits, travel, and high-end expenses. His bank accounts, frozen, his car, repossessed within 72 hours. I heard through someone at his old gym that he showed up looking for a friend to crash with, and nobody would even unlock the door. By Sunday night, I got a call from an unknown number. I didn't answer. A minute later, my voicemail buzzed. Hey, it's me. I guess I don't know what to say. I'm in holding right now. I just wanted to talk. I know things look bad, but I never meant for this to hurt you. I just thought I could fix things for us. Call me? I played it once, then I hit delete. Because he didn't do any of this for us. He did it for himself, for his ego, for the lifestyle he thought he deserved but never earned. He used my job, my name, my trust, and thought I'd just roll with it like always. Well, not this time. I was done being the quiet one in the background, keeping things afloat while he played king of nothing. Later that night, I got a text from my friend Jessica. So he really thought you'd never find out? I replied. No, he thought I'd never do anything about it. She sent back a single line. Guess he forgot who he married. Yeah, he did. Tuesday afternoon, my phone rang again. Same unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something in me wanted to hear how low he'd go, now that the spotlight was gone and reality had set in. I picked up, didn't say anything. He cleared his throat. Rachel, it's me. I waited. I'm out, on bond. Just for now. I didn't know if you'd even answer. I didn't speak. Let him keep digging. He kept going. Look, I know I messed up. I know this is all bad. I didn't mean for it to get like this. I made a mistake. A mistake? I said flatly. Yeah, he rushed. A dumb one. I thought you'd understand. I thought we were still a team. My grip tightened on the phone. You thought I'd stay quiet while you turned me into your cover story? He stammered. No, I didn't mean it like that. I panicked. I didn't know what else to say when they started asking questions. So you threw me under the bus. I thought it'd blow over, he said, his voice cracking just a little. I thought I could fix it before it hit you. I laughed once, sharp. Fix it with what? Another fake document? A new identity? He went quiet for a second. Then he tried the one thing he always circled back to when the game was up. I still love you, Rachel. No, you don't, I said. You never did. Yes, I did. I do. I didn't know how to give you what you deserved. I thought if I could pull this off, maybe we'd have a fresh start. You don't get to say that, I snapped. You weren't trying to save us. You were trying to save your ego. That's not fair. Neither is dragging me into a felony case because you were too lazy to earn anything on your own. His breathing picked up. Please don't give up on me. I stared at the wall, my jaw tight. I gave up on you the minute you forged my name. Then I ended the call. No goodbye, no pause. Just one clean cut. Blocked the number right after. Didn't hesitate, because that was his last shot, his last lie wrapped in a half-assed apology. And I'd already wasted enough of my life hoping he'd become someone he never even wanted to be. The divorce finalized on a Wednesday morning. I got the confirmation email while I was still in pajamas, eating cold cereal over the sink. Just like that. 7 years done. I didn't cry. I didn't smile either. I just stared at the subject line for a full minute, let it settle in, and then texted Jessica. It's official. She showed up 2 hours later with Thai takeout, 2 bottles of wine, and zero questions. We toasted on the couch with plastic cups and red curry in our laps. To your freedom, she said, and to never having to fake laugh at his pyramid scheme, pitches again. I laughed for real at that one. God, remember the CBD energy drink idea? Or the time he tried to rent out scooters without insurance? We kept going like that, running down the list of bad ideas I used to defend. Somewhere in the middle of her second glass, Jessica got quiet and said, "You really held all of it together, huh?" I didn't answer. Because yeah, I did. I just didn't realize how heavy it was until I finally set it down. The next morning, I ripped the last of his junk out of the closet. His old hoodie, cologne he never wore, a drawer full of half-dead batteries and tangled cords. All of it went in a box and straight to the donation bin. I painted the guest room a deep green, bought throw pillows I actually liked, put a new plant on the windowsill in the kitchen where his beer mugs used to sit. It wasn't just about redecorating, it was about clearing the infection out of the walls. By the end of the month, I booked a solo trip up north. Just me, my boots, and a little Airbnb outside Truckee. I hiked during the day, read at night, and breathed in silence like it was medicine. No schedules. No one asking me what's for dinner. No messes that weren't mine to clean. One morning, I watched the sun come up over Donner Lake and thought, this is what peace looks like. Not perfect, not loud, just mine. When I got back, Jessica filled me in over coffee. He's doing community service, she said. Orange vest, picking up trash on the freeway. Someone posted a picture on Facebook. I raised an eyebrow. And where's he staying? His brother's basement. No car, no job. Pretty sure Amanda blocked him too. I didn't say anything, but I felt it. Not joy, not pity. Just distance. Like whatever version of him I used to love belonged to a different person in a different life. 2 days later, I got an email from him. Subject line, please, just read. It was long, sad, full of phrases like, I miss you and we were good once and I'm trying to be better. I read the whole thing, then hovered over the reply button. I could have said a lot. I could have torn him apart, or forgave him, or asked why now. Instead, I clicked delete. No words, no mercy, no point. Because I already had what I needed, the clean break. The sun was just starting to crawl over the rooftops when I stepped onto the porch with my coffee. No alarm, no phone buzzing, just steam rising from my mug and the sound of a quiet street. I sank into the old wooden chair, pulled the blanket tighter around my legs, and looked out at my little front yard. Fresh mulch, trimmed bushes, the wind chimes he always said were too loud, spinning gently in the breeze. It was mine again, all of it. And sitting there, wrapped in morning air, I thought about how close I came to losing everything. My job, my name, my peace. And for what? A man who thought lying was a shortcut and loyalty was optional? I took a slow sip of coffee, letting the quiet sink into my bones. A car pulled up at the curb, and Jessica stepped out with a brown bag and a sleepy smile. Brought muffins. You alive? Barely, I said, waving her up. Come sit. She dropped into the chair beside me, kicking her shoes off and pulling out 2 giant blueberry muffins. So what's next? I shrugged. I don't know, but it's gonna be mine, whatever it is. No more fixing people? I gave her a look. Not a chance. I spent 7 years patching holes in a man who wouldn't hold a wrench. Jessica snorted. That should be a bumper sticker. We ate in silence for a bit, the good kind where nothing has to be said. The sun warmed the porch, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I owed anyone anything. I might take a class, I said, just for fun. Painting maybe, or pottery. She raised her cup. Look at you, turning into a whole person. Damn right. She leaned back, eyes closed. You did it, you know. You came out the other side. I looked around at the porch, the sky, the clean space inside the house behind me. No drama, no schemes, just stillness. I lifted my cup toward the sky. No big speech, no audience, just me and the air. To doing it right this time,